So, why do women fall for monsters? And this was recommended to me by my wife, of course. So I guess I'm supposed to learn something here. Am I the monster in this situation? Is this what? Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. I think we're getting somewhere. I think we're getting some messaging.
Why do women fall for monsters? Not just fictional characters or bad boys.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna give this a pass. I'm gonna give this a pass because I always identified with Beast. It was my ideal Disney story would be a Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin mix. I forgot what this movie was called for a second. A Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin mix, because Princess Jasmine, hands down, was my Disney crush, and Beast was the one I felt closest to as like representing me. Honestly, that's the truth. I was like, I need a crossover. I need a crossover, and I'm pretty sure it's somewhere online. I'm pretty sure there's a crossover somewhere online. But I give this one a pass. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with falling in love with Beast. He was a sexy monster. He was a sexy monster. And in the live action, the only reason I absolutely love it is it was portrayed by Dan Stevens, who I absolutely love him as an actor. Absolutely amazing. I say absolutely a lot.
But horrible people, serial killers get love letters.
Yep.
Inmates on death row routinely get married.
Yep.
It's not rare, and it's not just the fringes. Women being...
Yeah, this is Ted Bundy. Ted freaking Bundy. There are so many situations where these psychopaths just get so much love and attention. It's primarily that I will be the one to tame him. That wild animal that you see, the Mustang that gets tamed to be a great riding mount, that kind of thing. Women want to have that conquering mentality.
Drawn to monsters of all types has seeped its way into our media and our culture. I'm Ken LaCourte. I dig into uncomfortable questions and try to give you as fair an overview as I can. And this one is interesting because it touches on biology, psychology, and some patterns people don't like talking about. We'll start by looking at the spectrum of the types of bad men women can be attracted to. Then we'll take a look at the gender gap and see if it's really just women who react this way, or men too.
No, it's men react the same way as well, because there's like the hot crazy scale. It exists for a reason, because there is like eventually you get to the craziness, which crazy basically means monster. Let's be honest. It's the hot crazy scale, and then there's the monster aspect, but it's called crazy for when men are pursuing. It's a monster when women are pursuing.
Finally, we'll take a stab at understanding the attraction and seeing if we can figure out the wiring of the women who fall for really bad guys. So there's a spectrum in what I'm talking about here. It ranges from women who love real killers to those who are obsessed with true crime, all the way to women who get into fictionalized dark romance. So let's start with the extreme end, serial killer groupies. Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker. He was convicted of killing 13 people in...
Yep, and taking advantage of children, just so many atrocities that he gets captured, and then he's getting fan mail. It's like, oh, he's such a sexy man. He's such a sexy man. And it didn't help that he looked like a rock star back in the day, in the 80s.
Los Angeles in the mid-80s. He was horrific, mutilating bodies, displaying his youngest victim's corpse hanging from a pipe. He carved out one woman's eyes and kept them in a jewelry box as a souvenir. And during his trial, female admirers packed the courtroom. One showed up in a wedding dress, and multiple women proposed marriage. He eventually married a magazine editor. These women weren't alone. Pretty much every...
I want to say something, but I probably shouldn't. I'm just not. But some women just shouldn't be allowed a voice. Some women just shouldn't be allowed a voice. I don't want, like, it should be in general. There should be a psych eval for every single kid in school. Men and women. There absolutely should be, because then you would find the men who are psychopaths and then the women who would want to marry them. And then you would find the women psychopaths and the men who would want to marry them. We just need those testings. We need those testings done and lock the people up who Pass for the wrong reasons.
Every famous killer has female groupies. Ted Bundy raped and killed at least 30 women. He was no exception either.
I'm not afraid of him. He just doesn't look like the type to kill somebody.
Of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. Yeah, he's a sexy man at the time. Of course he doesn't. It's ridiculous.
Try to imagine yourself in his place and to see how he's feeling, looking at the pillows with bloodstains and everything, if he really did it or not.
The trial has drawn women from as far away as Seattle, where Bundy is suspected of other sex murders.
Hundreds of love letters, money, marriage proposals. Some even showed up to his trial dressed like his victims. Bundy got married and even fathered a child while on death row. Charles Manson, Jeffrey Dahmer, even Aurora shooter James Holmes, you name it. Now, the famous ones obviously get more attention, but it goes well beyond that, with lots of women falling for non-famous killers as well. There are even websites to match them with prisoners. WriteAprisoner.com or Meet an Inmate. They list thousands of felons, many serving time for murder. Their profiles read like dating apps, and inmates can post photos, describe their interests, and mention they're looking for friendship, and maybe more. Some women scroll through murderers like other people scroll through Tinder. Investigative reporter Sheila Eisenberg wrote the book Women Who Love Men Who Kill, where she describes women who give up their lives, husband, their kids, their money, to fulfill their romantic fantasies with murderers. The women all seem to...
Do I have something to worry about? No, you're the one who's just like, oh, this would be interesting. Women love, and you do enjoy the what is it? The murder porn? The what is it called? The forensic files and things like that. No, is it forensic files? Whatever this, I mean, technically, now that I've been watching it with my wife, I'm starting to enjoy that stuff too. I'm not gonna lie. I've been enjoying that stuff too. But still, it begs the question. It begs the question. They're talking about women who have abandoned their families for psychopaths. And, I mean, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. I'm psychopath enough.
have a similar explanation. Everyone sees a monster, but I see the real him. They often believe the men are misunderstood or victims of bad childhoods. The woman who married the Night Stalker said he was, quote, kind, funny, and charming, despite the murderers, mutilations, and rapes. So getting away from the extreme, that morbid fascination, it expands from individual relationships to an entire industry. The true crime obsession is massive. And
oh my gosh. We just talked about this. We just freaking talked about this. Yeah, there's something about it. There's something about it. Now I know why dads are so protective. Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing. It's just like that. You don't want them going out and being. I'm pretty sure there's a ratio to like the overprotective nature, the overbearing parenthood, and like the psycho the wanting for a bad boy because they never had the ability to experience life themselves. So there probably is some psychological aspects for that overprotective nature, which honestly I would be. That's why we can't. Me and my wife can't have a daughter. We just can't. We'd live in the middle of nowhere. They'd never be allowed out. They'd never. Yeah, just because. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not in this world. Not in this world. But yeah. I mean, yeah. That's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah. I occasionally enjoy a good true crime documentary, or those Netflix ones, or those things. It's just like you'll watch it and you're just like, oh my gosh. It's like watching a car crash. Or like a rubbernecking when you see an accident on the side of the road and everyone slows down to see what's happening to that accident. It's just inherent in us.
just the true crime.
I mean, that's why a lot of people like reality TV. They like seeing like the dysfunctionality and burnouts, even though it's all fake, the burnouts of all that stuff.
Crime podcasts alone reach well over 100 million listeners. Some networks have billions of downloads. Women largely drive those podcast downloads, the book sales, the streaming numbers. And many aren't just casual listeners. They join online communities to dissect cases, and some even travel to crime scenes to experience them for themselves. These aren't sanitized mystery novels either. They're often detailed descriptions of torture, rape, or dismemberment, 911 calls from dying victims, and rough crime scene photos. Some researchers say it's about understanding male violence in a safe context. Many women live with a background fear that men can be dangerous, and true crime can let them explore that reality without experiencing it firsthand. There's also an element of the forbidden. Society tells women to be nice, nurturing, and conflict averse. True crime lets them indulge darker curiosities without judgment. And then there's maybe the most mainstream fact.
You know, I think, like I always say, as long as my wife doesn't pull out a notepad and pencil and start taking notes, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. As long as we're just enjoying it and seeing like how disgusting the world can be, it's fine. It's when you start taking notes, I'm gonna be worried. I'm gonna be worried when you start taking notes. honestly.
fascination, romance novels. That industry generates $1.5 billion annually. And what they call dark romance authors are among the fastest growing. 50 Shades of Grey is about an abusive, controlling billionaire who loves...
Yep. And that's the thing. It's just like this kind of stuff speaks volumes to the is it psychopathy? I think that's the term of women, where deep down, like, again, this justifies a lot of like depraved men's thoughts, because when this becomes like one of the best women films, like films made for women, Barbie would be, I think, at the top. But it's just like they create this for women and it becomes one of the best for women, only to find out that it's about a woman being dominated. It literally justifies most men who think that, oh, women are meant to be in a situation like, no. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I hate this kind of stuff. I absolutely hate this kind of stuff. But because it literally gives justification to some psychopathic men.
Bondage. That sold 150 million copies. Books featuring kidnapping, captivity, and forced relationships dominate Amazon charts. The hashtag dark romance on Twitter has hundreds of millions of views. And TikTok's book talk community?
It's funny. I was about to mention, like, at least he's not saying TikTok, and then he brings up TikTok, because, of course, that's probably going to be the worst.
Really brought that all into a mainstream. Many of these are stories where women are captured, controlled, and sexually dominated by dangerous men, mobsters, serial killers, motorcycle gangs. The men in these books aren't
But the thing is, they treat the one woman perfectly. As they slaughter and kill all these other people, they treat the one woman differently. But that's the thing. Again, it's funny how it all goes back to that same kind of mindset where everyone wants to be the special person, the elite person, the one person who can tame the beast. It is insane. You don't have a mic, you can't speak. It is insane. Absolutely insane. It's one of the most barbaric and insane mindsets to have. No, there is no changing. Like the concept that a cheater's always a cheater. A psychopath will always be a psychopath. A monster will always be a monster. A killer will always be a killer. Sure, people can change over time, but that doesn't justify them getting fan mail. Oh, because that one woman is going to be the special case. They're going to be the special case. Because that's the thing. It's just like in those books, that one woman is always treated differently. I think even in 50 Shades of Grey, Grey had feelings for her. He treated her differently because she was special to him. Sure, he still needed to get his vices, but he cared for her. It's insane. It's absolutely insane, because that is not based in any sort of reality, because those monsters will always be monsters.
Understood nice guys. They're violent, and millions of women read them obsessively, perhaps which ties into the research showing that about half of women have fantasies involving dominance or force. Then there are actual monsters. And we've all seen stories about what I call soft core monster love. A woman who falls in love with a misunderstood monster.
Hey, leave Beauty and the Beast alone.
The Shape of Water, King Kong, Twilight, countless others. Now there's a growing genre of more hardcore monster romances as well. This one, Morning Glory Milking Farm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yep. It's funny because back in the day, it was just like, what is it when guys, they had that category for, are they a cat lady or not so much a cat lady? Like a human to cat lady. That was the extent. That was the extent, like an anime cat lady, where it's basically a tail and ears, and that is it. Now we have women reading books about a bull, an actual bull. It's ridiculous.
Has more than 21,000 ratings on Amazon and over 60,000 ratings on Goodreads. It's about a young woman who gets a job collecting semen from minotaurs. And, spoiler alert, she falls in love. Click on that one, and the algorithm will give you tons of books featuring really graphic sex novels of women with werewolves, demons, orcs, Bigfoot.
Morning Glory Milky Farm will never not be funny to hear. Yeah, absolutely. This stuff is so freaking ridiculous. So freaking ridiculous. That's the thing. It's just like men always had their weird perverted category, but it was like they were still human. But it's funny because for the Baroque category, I think it is, or whatever it is, it starts with a B, and it's got a category for women. It goes all the way into like ghouls and ghosts and some kind of what is it? Weird monsters. I forget the word for it. The Nightcraftian, right? Nightcraftian, Lorecraftian kind of monster, where they are just bizarre, have no shape, have no form. And yeah, that's like the extent of like the things that some women are willing to read about a monster.
But even more, there's a whole world out there of women having sex with any kind of a beast or monster you can imagine.
Yep, Nightcrawler.
Okay, so is this really a female thing? Or is it a sexist notion and cherry-picking stories? But before we get into that, I want to talk about finances and today's sponsor. So for my whole life, I kept track of how much I...
Oh my freaking gosh, that is just insane. But yeah, that's absolutely believable. That kind of stuff is absolutely believable. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. Oh.
Well, think about it. Most retirement accounts are...
Still going on. Still going on.
So what do? A lot of people diversify part of their retirement into physical gold.
Oh, well.
Something that doesn't care what the Dow does or what politicians do to the dollar. And that's where today's sponsor,
Retirement.
Augusta Precious Metals, comes in. They've been around for over a decade, and they're known for education, not sales pressure. They help you understand how gold IRAs work, how you can move part of your retirement into physical gold without the taxes or the penalties. Especially for this field, I researched them and I found excellent feedback. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they'll walk you through everything in simple steps and handle most of the paperwork. If you want to learn more, Augusta offers a free guide that explains how this works and whether it makes sense for your situation. No pushy sales calls, just clear information. You can get it by going to kenforgold.com or by texting RETIRE to 35052. This is more than about gold. It's about understanding your options and protecting yourself from a system that's quietly eating away at what you've saved. So check out the free guide. It's educational, straightforward, and it'll help you decide if it might be a good fit for you. Go to kenforgold.com or text RETIRE to 35052 today. Okay, well, let's get back to women and monsters. So is it really a female thing? Or again, is it a sexist notion and cherry-picking stories? As I dug into things...
It's both. It's a both. Like there are a massive amount of women who are into this sort of thing, and there's like probably a massive amount of men who are into this sort of thing. The thing is, men are more closed door with this kind of perversion because for some reason, women get praised and encouraged by other women. If a guy goes out there saying he loves the look of like a female looking horse because he likes how wide their hips are for some weird reason, guess what's going to happen? He's going to get ridiculed to no end by men. The problem in like the women field is like there's no actual ridicule, and it's more like you find spaces that encourage you and like, oh yes, good job, sister. Good job, sister. Yes, you be your best you. For men, it's more ridiculed. So even though there are men who are just as insane, it's kept behind closed doors because guess what? Your perversions should be kept between you and the people you choose to be with. That is it. The rest of the world doesn't need to know. We really don't. That goes to both the men who rightfully don't let the world know and the women who for some reason think it's okay to post everything they think is okay online.
It became abundantly clear that it's not a stereotype. It's reality. There's an overwhelming gender gap of women and however we define a monster. A San Quentin prison spokesman said that essentially 99% of fan mail received by death row inmates comes from women. Meanwhile, the 15 women on California's death row got almost no...
Well, of course. Of course. What the heck?
Similar attention from men. Heck, even Charlie Manson got engaged at 80 years old. But
Charles Manson. At 80 years old with what looks like could be his granddaughter. These people are... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Lovecraftian. Thank you. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Holy crap. I struggled with that one. I struggled with that one.
Female killers just don't get the same attention. No fan clubs or routine marriage proposals. No groupies showing up to court. Even Netflix gently reminded women that there are literally thousands of other hot men on our service, almost all of whom are not convicted serial murderers. Women were swooning over Zac...
Holy... Well, okay, don't blame it on Zac Efron. Yeah, you can't... Zac Efron has always been a chick magnet to women, which is sad because in this movie was showing his acting range and still, because he wanted to break out of being the pretty boy, and he still got women lusting after him because he was playing a serial killer. So women, guess what? Lusted after him.
Zac Efron playing Ted Bundy, but no one needed to warn men not to slobber over Charlize Theron when she played a serial killer. Now,
Nope.
some men do read and listen to true crime, but there's a big difference in how they engage with it. Men approach crimes more like armchair detectives. They dissect methods and analyze the criminal psychology. Some might even admire a killer's cleverness from a distance, but they're not imagining themselves as the devoted boyfriend of a female murderer. Men don't talk about fixing
No. Fixing the killer? Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is just deranged.
female killers. They don't say she was misunderstood or she had a good heart underneath it all. And when you zoom out to fantasy, the difference is even clearer. The numbers show that women are about 80% of romance readers overall, and they've turned dark romance into a massive industry. In women's fantasy writings, it's almost always about a dangerous man she chooses. For men, it's really the opposite. They may dream about being dangerous, whether a hero or an outlaw, but they really don't fantasize about being chosen by dangerous women. And here's something else I learned that was interesting.
Well, yeah, because there's a difference. Like women primarily choose a relationship kind of story. Like every relationship story is primarily, like that's why they have these Disney women having brain dead issues, because women want a relationship. Deep down, that is inherently what they want. It's biological. And men, they want to be protective. They want to be men, okay? We want to be men. We want to be providers. We want to look the best. We want to feel strong. We imagine ourselves out in the yard cutting down a tree. I said it. You all imagined it. You all imagined it right there. All you guys immediately saw it. You women were probably just tuned out like, what the heck does he mean cutting down a tree? Probably with a handsaw. All the guys, they imagined either a massive axe in their hand or a chainsaw cutting down that tree. Sure. I doubt that. You're cutting down a branch. You're there out there with shears on the flowers. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's just like that. That's the thing. It's just like we all have our own vices. We all like manly things. No, you don't. Come on. You did. Yeah, you imagined it.
Interesting. Studies show that many dark romance readers tend to be college-educated, progressive women. Many are vocal feminists. That contradiction seems to bother a lot of people, but researchers note that
Yeah, because that kind of addiction towards those kind of dark romances are an oxymoron towards feminism, because guess what? Those men are monsters that did, well, especially the types of prisoners that have done certain crimes, are monstrous towards women. It's just how it is. Have you seen Chainsaw Man? Yes.
humans are good at compartmentalizing. Our political beliefs show what we think society should be like as a whole. But sexual fantasy is what privately arouses us. They don't have to align, and for many people...
Then can you explain how men who like Mika from Chainsaw Man, like I said, it's not exactly one-to-one, because like I was saying before, it is mixed. But the thing is, women, for some reason, when they come out with their perversions, are encouraged. Men, when they come out with their perversions, guess what other men do to them? Ridicule them, make fun of them. That's how it's always happened. Throughout time, men will always bully other men. And if you are in a friend group if you're a guy in a friend group of guys that don't bully you or don't tease you, then guess what? They're not real friends. Because real friends actually, will tease each other about their problems. We'll tease each other about being overweight or their misuse of money or that kind of stuff. Or, dude, you don't do this or anymore or this ever since you've been married. That kind of stuff. That's what friends do to each other. They try to uplift each other and try to point out the problems. It's like, dude, you did this? Like, heck, my friend did something ridiculous for a first time, his first real relationship with a woman, and it didn't seem like it was with a woman. So it's just like, I'll tease my friend, and my friend will always be known for that, because it's just how guys are. It's just how guys are. You'll ridicule them, joke with each other about that kind of stuff. But women don't seem to do that. They don't. That's the reason why. So men will keep that kind of thing hidden. They normally do. Of course, now it's getting more encouraged to be open about that.
They don't. If you ask women what they want in real life, they'll tell you they want kind, emotionally available, respectful men who communicate well. And for long-term relationships, that's mostly true. But they still like reading stories about being kidnapped by pirates or stalked by vampires, and men who get restraining orders in the real world.
What the heck is that?
And as always, if I've messed up something here, let me know, and I'll address it in a pinned comment in the description box below.
Yeah, because the thing is, he needs to go down the rabbit hole of like the types of stuff, because men primarily watch their perversions. women read their perversions. That's technically what it is. Whether it's a fake or real that they're watching, men don't care. They just want to see it played out in front of them. So the thing is, he would have to look at that aspect. Seeing the statistics of what women are reading and what they're sharing online is one thing. Seeing the statistics of what men are watching and everything would be another one. And he needs to go down that rabbit hole, which would be kind of difficult. And very, very, what would it be? Like, it would just break him being like, okay, both men and women are demented. Just men seem to keep it behind closed doors.
Where you can also find my script and my research notes. Okay, so the pattern is clear, and it's overwhelmingly female.
I saw Chainsaw Man like 2 years ago. I was 16 then. I remember Makima teaching Denji in the office, if you remember. Yes. To redo the kiss for the second time because his first experience was bad. Old man hasn't seen Chainsaw Man fandom. Of course. That's the thing. It's just like he did his research because women are public about this kind of stuff. They are public about it. So that's why it's easier to go down that rabbit hole. The men are quiet about this kind of stuff. So they're less likely to, he's less likely to find it. So he's only coming at it from one aspect because he can only see one aspect. Because the other aspect, most guys are hide it.
But what's really happening when a woman falls for a monster? Researchers have tried understanding the attraction that some women have, and they've identified several factors. We'll start with a look at evolutionary biology, and then the individual psychological reasons. Women are routinely drawn to dominant, confident, risk-taking males. I mean, that's fairly obvious to anyone paying attention, and it makes sense. Those traits signal the ability to protect and provide. Now, some women take that further, and you can see the most extreme version of that in a popular trope in the dark romance novel world, Touch Her and Die. The most terrifying man in the world to everyone else is gentle with you. He'll tear apart anyone who threatens you, but he'll never do you any harm. His violence actually protects you, and it's intoxicating. The thrill of danger with the comfort of safety. Some evolutionary psychologists explain that for the most part of human history, pregnancy made women physically vulnerable for 9 months at least.
Okay, I understand. Can anyone here tell me what we're reacting to? It's men versus women. What is it? It's basically, why do women fall for monsters? The thing is, he's targeting it from one aspect because he was like, oh, do men fall for it too? And he's like, no, it's statistically women. It's like, no, it's both. It's both. He just hasn't opened that can of worms yet. As soon as he does, he would probably make a remake video being like, I once did this video and I said this, I was wrong. I'm going to come at it from this. Or he would fall down that rabbit hole and he'd just say, like, oh, I was wrong about this, but I'm not going to do a video on it because it'd just be too ridiculous. That's not the office scene. The office scene is when Makima shows Denji why he wasn't satisfied after he was able to grasp honkers of OF power. Yeah, I remember. Again, like, I was watching it for the story. Again, that kind of stuff just gets deleted out of my brain. I just remember the kissing.
Birth could kill you, and you needed time to recover afterwards. And then you had years of caring for an infant who couldn't run, fight, or fend for itself. The theory goes that women needed mates who were physically big and bad enough to defend them and their children. A man who was violent but loyal was the evolutionary jackpot. Psychologist Jordan Peterson makes the case more clearly that when real danger shows up, what makes you think the meek guy is going to be good for anything? Being tame doesn't necessarily mean you'll be...
So it's funny. These feminists want the toxic masculine man. It's funny because all these simps become beta males to impress these feminist women when in the end, the feminist women want the toxic masculine man, when toxic masculinity is basically just being a man. If you're just a man, women want you. That's the thing. It's just like there's this huge push for, oh, no more toxic masculinity. And then they betify the men. They betify the men. That now there's a generation of men out there who are complete betas that the women are going to end up going for the older generation because there's no one out there for them that's at least strong, because men were taught for years, or they became incels. They became beta men or incels. They were taught that the men were taught that being strong, being protective, being domineering, being authoritarian is all negative. And of course, I mean authoritarian, like standing your ground and being like confident in your stance.
Safe when there's an actual threat. It's certainly possible that these preferences were shaped over hundreds of thousands of years, and the result might be now a mismatch between ancient instincts and modern reality. Women's arousal patterns may still respond to signals that once meant good protector, even when now those signals are red flags. When we get past evolutionary concepts and look at psychology, we find a few different theories about why women like this fantasy. There are women who believe, I can fix him, women who want the perfect boyfriend, and some who have past trauma. Many of us have seen the I can fix him belief with a friend who stays with the guy who's terrible for her, believing she can help him change. Now, this feeling works all the way up to women who genuinely believe they can change a murderer. Forensic psychologist Catherine Ramsland studied dozens of women who married serial killers. In letters and interviews, these women insist that their man is misunderstood and that the relationship is different because she sees the good in him that no one else can, and she can fix his problems. And think about how appealing that is. When you're special enough to reach someone that no one else could, I mean, if you can tame a monster, you must be extraordinary. We see it in those softcore monster stories.
Yep. Like I mentioned before, it's that wanting to be you were the one who was able to do something no one else could.
Beauty and the Beast.
You're the
Twilight.
superior one.
Except in the fantasies, they actually change. In the real life, not so much. A lot of women stay in abusive relationships because they believe that they're one breakthrough away from transforming him. Some women also told Ramsland that a man in prison can be the perfect boyfriend. She knows where he is all the time. He's not out there flirting with other women.
Okay. This I could understand. This I could understand right here, because they actually have like conjugal visits in some prisons to where you can go and actually sleep with your husband. But yeah, this I could actually understand. That's insane. That's insane.
She doesn't have to deal with the boring relationship stuff. No chores or petty problems. The relationship stays frozen in a prolonged honeymoon phase of letters, phone calls, and fantasy. One woman said she specifically chose a prison pen pal serving a long sentence in a facility far away. She wanted the emotional connection without real-life cohabitation, like a boyfriend she could put on pause. And also, many mental health experts have noticed that
a long-distance relationship with someone you know is locked up, and you don't have to worry about him doing anything. That's the thing. I mean, that was like the biggest issue with me and my wife. It was long distance, but I'm not caged up. So I could literally be doing anything, and my wife wouldn't know, except she had a tracker in my phone. And yeah, there's many things. She would have known. She would have known. But I'm just saying, it's just like that. There's that fear of being cheated on. It is real. It is absolutely real, especially this day and age. It's dark. But what if he is into men? Well, if he is into men, then he probably would enjoy that rabbit hole, or even more so not, because if he is into men, he'd be like, am I with the monster?
A lot of these women have a history of trauma or abuse. Ramsland said her research showed that these women were often insecure and couldn't find love in normal ways. Some women who married serial killers purposely looked for romantic relationships where they couldn't have sex. One study of women in relationships with men in prison found that 90% of them had previously been in at least verbally abusive relationships, maybe more, with other men. They seem to be repeating a cycle. They're used to being controlled or hurt by men, and a relationship with a prisoner guarantees something familiar without the immediate physical threat. It's a safe way to indulge a harmful pattern they can't seem to break. Their self-esteem is often low, and the killer's intense need for them, even if he's being manipulative, fills a void. And finally, there's also women who just love
read novels. I think novels are the problem to this. They're way too into it. They're way too into
the
it.
feeling of danger. Fear and arousal trigger similar responses in the body. Both pump adrenaline,
Footloose?
increase your heart rate, cause flushed skin, dilate pupils, and create a heightened sense of awareness. They call it excitation transfer. The arousal from one source, in this case fear, gets attributed to sexual attraction. It's why people often feel more attracted to dates after watching a scary movie or riding a roller.
Seriously? No, I don't get anything from scary movies. I didn't know that was a thing. Well, you see a scary movie and then you get paranoid completely, and then you're having nightmares. Oh, clinging to the guy. I guess. But it's talking about how it leads to arousal, because I guess they're with a man. I don't know. Well, yeah, adrenaline rush would be part of it. Yeah, because the roller coaster here.
Coaster together. And with fantasy, women can especially enjoy these stories because they're actually safe. It's like a horror movie where you get the thrill without the real danger. So, like in almost all of my videos, there isn't one answer to this, but a patchwork of motivations that explains things. And for the most part, I think what I describe here is really a problem. A relatively small number of women throw themselves at murderers, and a much larger number of them indulge in harmless fantasies. The real larger problem are the ones who fall for what we might call monsters light. Because most women don't end up with a murderer, but millions fall in love with an abusive man who shares many of these traits and inflicts fear, harm, and manipulation. And
Yep. Yep, because it's that changed the mentality. That thing should be squashed. Absolutely. Because if the man isn't willing to change for you in the beginning, he's not going to change throughout time. That's just not how it works. If he got you when he was being a monster, he will continue to be a monster. YouTube doesn't register your chat? I guess.
for many of the similar reasons that I talked about, as the men get more abusive, many women dismiss the red flags altogether. Close to 2,000 women die at the hands of their partner each year in the United States.
Holy.
Worldwide, it's many times that. Love can go really wrong. Okay, so I looked at a lot of murderers in this video, and obviously these are the guys who got caught. But as it turns out, getting away with murder is getting easier each year. In fact, every year in the United States, about 13,000 people kill someone and never get punished at all. I discovered why, that despite DNA and...
Oh my gosh. Again, like I don't think it's completely accurate. I feel like both men and women have their problems. Like I said, the man dynamic, they're less likely to speak about it openly. They're less likely to speak about it openly. But he's just targeting the women. He didn't even bother checking into the men. He just looked at probably dark romance for men and found next to nothing. Ugh. Old man hasn't heard of the word dummy. Oh, dommy mommy yet. Okay. I guess that word is flagged. Clearly he hasn't. Yeah, because you say that and immediately it triggers it. It's like, okay. What? No, because he said dommy mommy and it reminded me of the freaking Sandman's video of that baddie. I'm the baddie. I'm the baddie. I'm a baddie. I'm a dom. I'm a dom. I'm a dom. I'm like, ugh, come on. Yeah, it reminded me of that. It's like, yes, there are. So what's the conclusion? Know what your vices are, realize, and in some cases, seek help. Seek help. I mean, maybe in some cases, like the girls can get their thrill in books that they can find a good man outside, but I doubt that's the case.
You guys got a video? So bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait, where's that?